Hey, everybody, and welcome back. It's Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
It is the first week of March here in 2020, and we are 174 days away from Star Wars Celebration.
Yikes.
It's kind of like the next countdown. I don't have anything else to count down to.
I know. No dates for anything yet.
No. I don't even know when Mandalorian's back, so I can't put that up either.
I mean, even at the movie side of things, last I heard, they're still trying to hit that same 2022
Yes.
timeline, but like that's all
December
we got.
2022, that's right.
That's it.
Untitled Star Wars film, right?
Yep. There you go. It's going to be a
I
hit.
could put that on the side,
Yeah,
I guess, to countdown. That would be like, what, 400 and something days, 500 something days from now? No. That's another year. It's 2022. That's man.
2.5 years. Over 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's like 900 something days.
1,000 days.
I want to be old then. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the second episode of The Clone Wars, A Distant Echo, that aired last week. New episode coming tomorrow. We've got some Rise of Skywalker talk to discuss. Some interesting information has been come out from the novelization that will be out in a couple weeks. Some High Republic news, some Cassian news. We're going to get on all of that. First up, though, let's talk about A Distant Echo, because this episode of the Clone Wars season, the last season, season 7, the second episode here, we continue the story of our Bad Batch squad that is going to discover whether or not Rex's intuition about Echo's surviving his apparent death at the Citadel back in season 3. We find out some interesting details in this episode. Now, first, I'll tell you the first thing that really stood out to me was really the discussion between Anakin and Padme.
Yeah.
I thought that was fantastic.
Yes.
You come to find out if you watch the Clone Wars download video that this is the only appearance of Padme we're getting in this season.
Wow.
In fact,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. In fact, we were not supposed to get her at all. He actually wrote this scene in, so this wasn't part of the original animatic.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Yeah, so he wrote this part in and at least bring Catherine Tabor back and do Padme again, and I thought that was a fantastic scene.
Yes. It makes sense that we wouldn't see her just because you can tell in this scene that she's starting to show a little bit.
Right.
So pregnancy.
So this made me think it was about 3 or 4 months before
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. She's kind of like doing this weird, like, she's holding her belly a little bit, but she's not really showing a whole lot. So it was, I guess, just that kind of clue. Like, I don't know if maybe it's so early that she isn't quite sure if she is even pregnant, or like, because if she is, why wouldn't she tell Anakin? I mean, it's just, if you think about it too hard, you kind of get lost in the well, why didn't they do this? But it was a great scene. I mean, it makes sense we don't see her. I love that this is the only way they can communicate, just this whenever he can. I just love that. I just love the whole setup of it, where he was trying to get Rex to get out. Like, we got that thing to do, and he was telling that he was already late and talking with her, and like that was just great. Like, even after that, the Obi-Wan stuff was fantastic.
Yes,
very good.
Yeah, because in the download episode too, they talk about how Obi-Wan knows there's a romantic relationship going on.
Yes.
But the one thing he didn't suspect was that they would take it that next step and secretly get married. And, I guess he figures it out even in Revenge of the Sith. I don't even know if they actually got married. Obviously, he figures out that he's the father. Yeah. But that was incredible scene to see that. And plus, it was also incredible to see Rex kind of covering for him. Yeah. How much does he know?
Yeah. He could have just said he's meditating, but...
Totally. But he did take the helmet in there to kind of hide it too.
I was wondering, like, why does he need the helmet?
But do you think that Anakin, I know it's a hologram, but do you think he would be able to sense another life?
Right? Yeah. I mean, you'd think, because Vader can choke through holograms, so you think he can sense life through holograms, but anyway, as my dad would say, it's in the script. He just he didn't because he didn't.
He didn't, yeah.
Because that's just
so overall. What do you think about this episode?
It was good. I mean, yeah, it was. I loved that part with Anakin was great, and then right when they were getting pinned down there in the Citadel, or not the Citadel, but in that
the tower there
was awesome, and then just seeing Echo at the very end, pretty creepy, but pretty cool. I love Star Wars. I love, a lot of people call it weird Star Wars, where it's just like he's coming out, and it's like an alien. It's all these tubes and everything coming out, and he looks like he's already dead. Yeah. So it's really weird, and we don't see that too often in Star Wars. But I like that side, that kind of really that's more so sci-fi, more so that kind of dark and creepy side of Star Wars. Yeah, really, really cool.
Martin, my co-host on Mandalore podcast. Speaking of, I don't know if I've mentioned it. We're doing Clone Wars breakdowns every week too for that, as we wait for Mandalorian to come back. But Martin mentioned on our episode that that reminded him of Neo.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Matrix, right? Yeah, very creepy, very just uncomfortable. You know that you would lock somebody in like that, and because obviously he's getting fed, through his veins, to keep him alive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and it's hard to see. It's actually hard for me to see the first time I watched it, but the second time I watched it, like he has mechanical legs.
Yes.
I mean, he's like part machine now. So he
crazy.
must have got blown to pieces when he died.
Pretty much was dead.
Yeah, pretty much was dead.
Kept him alive.
They kept him alive. Yeah. So
just proves the fact that you get chopped in half, you're not dead.
Yeah.
Like
that's right.
It's just great technology they had to keep someone alive, but really cool. I mean, it was a good little cliffhanger. It makes me really excited to see where it's going to go next.
Yeah, there's still 2 episodes in this arc. So the next one, On the Wings of Caradax, is next, which is Caradax are the animals that you see flying that that kind of picked up Anakin. So it seems like the next couple episodes are more about getting Echo off planet and saving him, and it makes you wonder if he comes fully back as a clone. I mean, I don't know,
Yeah,
I don't see how he survives this, which is funny because I didn't watch the animatics, so I don't know how it ends. But
yeah, it's like I feel like I don't remember if I watched them all, but like as I'm watching it, it's like becoming more familiar to me. But yeah, I don't recall at all how it ends.
Yeah. So these 2 more episodes, like we said, and then episodes 5 and 6, we get back into diving into Ahsoka and her storyline and reintroducing her back to the Clone Wars, which was great. Still completely in the dark of 9, 10, 11, 12, even though we know, 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
We don't know when or how long Siege of Mandalore is.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the last 4 episodes. It could be the last 2 episodes.
I feel like it's going to be the last 4.
Yeah.
But it would be really cool if they just doubled them up and had 2 really long episodes. Then
I know it's highly unlikely, but I'm not sure why you wouldn't end it with a movie. Like, and make Siege of Mandalore a movie.
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like,
pretty much is
3 episodes
split up. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, take the last 3 episodes, make it like you, because the Clone Wars movie was 3 episodes that they put together for that.
Yeah.
That would have been a good way. That would be a good way to end it. So
started with movie and ended with a movie.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
And you're ending it with, Order 66 and whatever happens then before you get into but it's overlapping. We obviously know it's overlapping if Order 66 happens, but but that's how I would do it. Anyway, Wings of Caradax is coming tomorrow on Friday the 6th, March 6th. So go check that out. And we'll be back next week to talk about that episode. Again, you can check out Mandalore Podcast. Temporarily, it's the Clone Wars Mandalore Podcast. So me and Martin over there are talking about more in depth about the episodes. All right, so moving forward here, really quick, just some reminders on releases. We've got March 17th coming up. It's a big day. March 17th is you're getting the expanded edition of the Rise of Skywalker novelization, which we'll talk about here soon. That's stirring up all kinds of controversy. Mm-hmm. That is also the digital release of the film. And then, of course, 2 weeks later, on the 31st, you can get the 4K Blu-ray and all that stuff. Yeah. But digital, 17th, novelization, 17th. Yeah, that would be, that's less than 2 weeks, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So look for that. That's very exciting. Can't wait to watch that again here at the house. Some bit of news. You got something on the Cassian thing?
Yeah, so I didn't even expect to see this. Someone, if this is legit, someone looks like did some digging and went to this film, like industry, what was it called? The Film and Television Industry Alliance, the FTIA, which I guess posts production schedules, perhaps. So if this is real, then the Cassian Andor project, that's what it's tentatively called, it has a start shoot date of June 1st of this year in London, United Kingdom. So, yeah, that's the first time we've ever gotten any kind of word of an actual date of when the show will start to shoot. We knew it was going to shoot this year.
Yeah.
June 1st. I feel like that's earlier than maybe what we were kind of thinking, but right around the corner. And
considering we haven't heard a single thing about it.
Exactly. If this is real, this was posted on this website March 2nd, so a few days ago. But June 1st, at least starting shoot. Now, I don't think that will necessarily mean Diego Luna's first day, but it could be something else happening, shooting extras, like what they did with Mandalorian. They were shooting a bunch of marketplace scenes at first, and I don't think they had Pedro Pascal on set the very first day. So who knows if we will start to see photos, if it is true, but that's still a couple months away.
Which looks like down the line, that means that we're going to get the release of Cassian before Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Naturally, in that sense, since Obi-Wan's not shooting until the first of next year. Mm-hmm. So this would probably mean, if I were to make a guess, that how we started getting the Clone Wars this February, it might seem like we get Cassian next February. Mm-hmm. Once Mandalorian goes off, finishes their season 2, probably about a month in between, because I'm assuming that'll go through October, November, December like it did this time, depending on how many episodes. We don't know how many episodes we're getting, though. Yeah.
Do you think that Obi-Wan and Mandalorian season 3 will be? I mean, if Mandalorian has a season 3,
right? Which I would think it will. Yeah. You mean if they come out together?
Yeah, if they're going to be concurrent, kind of in schedule.
If Obi-Wan, depending on, because if Obi-Wan's short.
Like 6 episodes, right? 4 or 6 episodes?
Well, I think they even talked about going down to 4, because it was 6, and they go down to 4.
That's right.
And I think there's a rumor still out there that it may just be a movie, like a Disney Plus movie.
Oh, that'd be so cool, actually.
Yeah.
Anything would be cool.
I know. So if they do that, I feel like they can turn around that by the fall.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yes.
If it's that short, you maybe launch that before Mandalorian Season 3 comes out. Mm-hmm. I guess, too, you got to think about, again, we got to think about what I said in the front of this is, we're 174 days from Celebration. What is going to be debuted there? What is going to be announced there? Mm-hmm. I think there's not a coincidence that they moved it to August, when they normally have it in April. So you definitely have I have no doubts they're definitely going to debut. I think they're going to debut season 2 of Mandalorian there.
Yeah. Yep.
You could have a Cassian teaser, I guess, by then.
I was going to say,
right?
Some kind of trailer. Yes, definitely.
So to hype that up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then the question becomes, is there going to be a celebration in 2021?
I don't think so.
I don't see how they can start doing this annually.
No. Unless they if they're going to do it annually, then keep it in the same time of year because like it needs to be August of 2021.
But that's also the next D23.
Yeah, but that's why I don't think it'll be every year.
I don't think so either.
That's probably why they moved it to this year in this time of year because so they can go
every other year.
Every other year.
That could be it. And it makes sense to have it in 22 because then you might have a movie, right?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
So it would probably be another 2 years in between.
I mean, I hope that they still move it around.
I do too. No, I do too.
Come back to the East Coast next time.
Go back to Orlando.
Yes, just keep it Orlando.
Yeah, no. In fact, actually, I would like them to go back to Indianapolis.
Really? Yeah.
Just so we could drive there.
Yeah, it's true. Like 3.5 hours.
Yeah. But I don't think they will. I mean, I think Chicago is good.
Cincinnati.
It's Cincinnati, yeah. Gosh, they don't have the space. Chicago, I mean, God, I wish they would do it in summer. But that was because Chicago is a good place to have it, I think.
Yeah.
But Anaheim, I will say, Anaheim to me was the most organized Star Wars celebration.
But it's the same company that's been doing it. Was it Reed Pop that did it back then?
Yes.
Just probably better. Just
it's
facilities.
The layout of the facilities was a lot better. I felt like it wasn't as spread out. Mm-hmm. They had more floors, so you had more layers to go up and down to the different breakout rooms, and then they still had that external theater, the kind of stadium where they had the big panels. So. And they had a big convention room where they had all the queues, it was just, it didn't feel that crowded, even though it was a ton of people there. Mm-hmm. Orlando seems a little bit compressed.
Like flat, wide.
Yes.
I feel like.
Yes.
I don't know. But Chicago, McCormick, right? McCormick. That was a little confusing.
It was. That was way spread out.
Yeah,
I felt you had to walk a mile to get to places.
Yeah, like you're in the vendor floor. Then we had to get to the podcast stage, and it's like I don't know. It's like the opposite corner of the building, and you had to go a certain flight down and over. And it's like it was so weird.
Yeah, it was weird. Those were rooms kind of tucked away.
Yeah.
So anyway, Anaheim's a good spot. Obviously, in August it'll be sunny and warm and. You get a chance to go to Galaxy's Edge out there if you can.
Absolutely.
So that's that. Now, the only other bit of news I wanted to mention is we both kind of read the headline a little bit, and I read a little bit about the possibilities of a High Republic tie-in to, of course, the books and the comics. And this would be very exciting, but they're talking about not only a game, but the next VR game. So we've gotten the 3 episodes of Vader Immortal. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. Even if you have to just go borrow somebody's Oculus. What do I have? A Quest? Is that
Quest?
What the Quest. In fact, I think the promo's still running. If you buy a Quest, you get all 3 Vader episodes. So go check that out. It's really, really good. I was really surprised how detailed it was and how immersive it is. I had done the Void Secrets of the Empire VR experience at Disney Springs. Just incredible. Now, I knew it wouldn't be that good, but it's pretty close. The only difference is with the Void VR, you can see your whole body.
Yeah.
Like you can look and see your whole body, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So that's true. If we do that, we got to go there.
Yeah.
But the VR Vader Immortal, you just see your hands. You don't see anything else. But this, apparently the rumor is that the High Republic is going to be made into the next VR game, simply because, Vader was kind of the dark side. Now you got a Jedi side. And
that'd be cool.
I mean, the idea of possibly walking around like Coruscant, that is awesome.
Yeah, and then I can only hope that.
Did you do all 3? You did all 3
VRs. Yeah, Vader stuff. Vader Immortal is awesome. I can only hope that they're already trying to push the boundaries with, make it as close to Secrets of the Empire as possible. I mean, there's already haptic suits out there that you can buy and kind of do, but they haven't developed the games to obviously for you to see your whole body and to use it that well. So hopefully, I would love it if Star Wars is doing more of these VR games like that and kind of pushing the boundaries, that they will start to incorporate this new technology to really make it even more immersive. That would be so cool. Yeah, and like being able to immerse yourself in a game where you can fight alongside other Jedi.
Yes.
Fight whether won't be a legion of Sith, but it'll be whatever space pirates, space Vikings that they want to throw at you in the High Republic era. Regardless, that'll be super cool.
Yes.
Being in a war type setting.
Yes.
With
I just want to be an official Jedi. Because in Vader Immortal, you don't know what really a Jedi is. You don't even know. You're learning the Force kind of thing. No, if you start out like a master and you're just going around doing missions, I mean, that would be, I'd play that thing all the time. The thing about it also is with Vader, it's not only the experience, but I feel like they did an incredible job with the story. I mean, it's because it's easy to get wrapped up in wielding a lightsaber, but it's episode 1 too. When I first started that, like I was just so into like what time of the galaxy this is. What Vader was doing with this castle, and I mean it's just it's really immersive storytelling for one. So that's the thing about this too. I think if they've got the right story, I mean, just kind of imagine it could be like Knights of the Old Republic, just a VR part.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that would be.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I really never dove into Knights of the Republic, but I hear how immersive it is and how,
I mean, it's just that whole concept of a role playing game where it's just so vast. Vader Immortal chapters were 20, 30 minutes, whatever.
Yes.
And I feel like that's, I don't know. For me, that was a good amount of time just because I started to get headaches towards the end of it.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe it's just because of my sensitivity level. But if I was, I played KOTOR hours at a time.
I know.
So I don't know if I could do that on a VR game.
Correct.
But I would love it if it was a much more vast story that, it would just take me several weeks to beat this game. But
and that's
20, 30 minutes at a time.
Yeah, and that's the question is how vast can you get in a VR game right now? Because it could be because the file size itself is probably massive.
Yeah, again, hopefully they're just continuing. I'm sure they are continually pushing the boundaries with all that. And I mean, it's even after I played Vader Immortal, I was researching, and this isn't about the file, how long a game could be, but just the technology of it. Like, there's already with an Oculus Quest testing how you can use your hands as remotes. Like you don't need the joysticks and the controllers like that, and so you can hold like your hilt, like your lightsaber hilt, your toy lightsaber, and use that as a real thing, swinging it around. I love that.
That's crazy. Yeah, and what's scary too is we could get an announcement at Celebration because more than likely they've been working on this already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They could have been working on this the last couple of years.
Well, they're going to have a demo of it like they did
totally
this previous Celebration.
I totally think that's what's going to happen. And we get some kind of announcement at Celebration or maybe beforehand. And like you said, they demo it and have a panel that weekend, so this is one of the rumors thing that I think would be a legit thing to do, especially when you're already tying in comics and books. Why not tie in a game series?
Yeah, that was the thing I said last show. It was one thing that I thought was missing was, the announcement of High Republic was good. It was really good, and I loved all the content that we were told we were getting and all the artwork, and it was very exciting, very promising. But I just feel like it was missing something to really put it over the top. Like, this is definitively the next era, and obviously they would not have done a movie or probably not a TV show, but I think a game announcement when they initially announced all this stuff, would have really kind of, to me, hopefully told like the mainstream fan of like this is, this is big. This is bigger because mainstream fans probably don't see the books and comics as much of a huge impact on Star Wars as a franchise, but you put a game in there, that's actually a little more credence. And I think that's just unfortunately how it's interpreted. But obviously for us, it's just anything. Anything will take. Any type of medium is Star Wars gold, and Star Wars the gold standard, whatever the canon that you hold it to the same level as the movies, basically.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah, that and then tell me sequels coming to Jedi Fallen Order, and I'd be ecstatic. There is some updates. I forgot. There's some updates to Battlefront. I think that came out. Did you see those?
Yes. Yeah.
Like an Ewok update, and they added an ISB agent.
Yes. Yeah, a few characters. There's been a couple other rumors of games. There was an article. Oh gosh, I can't because I just remembered this. I forgot. With one of the game developers. I think EA. What's the an EA Motive? I think is the company.
Yeah.
One of the developers of that, and talking about another project that they're working on, and it was very vague. But the interviewer was asking, "Is this a DLC or is this something new?" And then the developer was basically saying, "Now this is the part of the interview where I can get in big trouble if I say any more." So it was a vague answer, but it led people to believe that there is a new game coming out. Maybe it's not a DLC because he could have just said no, it's not a DLC or something. I don't know, but or he could have said yes, it's just a DLC. But there's a lot of rumors out there that there might be a new thing. Like when we just saw today a leaked image of a screenshot from someone found on the PlayStation Network of a game that's tentatively called Star Wars Maverick Project.
Oh yeah!
All you see is just a thumbnail of it's like a solo type font logo treatment, and then the background is a really stylized artwork of like you have a Star Destroyer and some like red background. But so there's something's happening. Whether it's a High Republic VR game or this Project Maverick or some other thing that this one guy said in an interview, or maybe it's a combination of, or they're all separate. We're definitely getting something new, and I think relatively soon.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. Okay. So anyway, good stuff coming. All kinds of Star Wars in different mediums. But we're gonna shift over to this controversial discussions that have been happening over the last few days here. I've taken a little bit for me to sink my teeth into this and kind of really dissect it, because I think there were two phases that came out, two things that came out that kind of made me think. The first one that came out, so the novelization was pre-released, I guess, at C2E2 this past weekend up in Chicago, and so people got advanced copies. And the first thing I read, or first thing I heard, was that it was revealed, basically, that Palpatine's body that we see him in The Rise of Skywalker is indeed a cloned body.
Yes.
Now, this shouldn't come as a huge surprise, because that was kind of the speculation. But that was also the big question, I think, that came out of the movie was, is it a clone, or is it actually, did he survive the Death Star? And I mean, the explosion of the Death Star should kind of tell you that his body wouldn't be,
how could he survive
how his body be alive?
Yeah.
Dominic Monaghan's character clearly states, Sith cloning, and then you find out in the encyclopedia that he has done a lot of research in Sith cloning and the dark arts and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So in the end, he basically tells us in that line that cloning is involved.
Yes.
So it shouldn't be a surprise. So there's that. And then there's the second thing I read, which was the big thing, I feel like, is Rey's father, Palpatine's son, was indeed a failed clone of him. therefore insinuating that there wasn't a grandmother to Rey.
Right. It wasn't a natural birth.
Wasn't a natural birth.
You can rest. You can rest easy.
Right. So I think those are the two things, right? That really
big thing. There were a lot of Reylo type scenes
Reylo
people were posting. That were pretty. I thought were pretty interesting, but this really got a lot of people worked up. At least in my group chats, a lot of people worked up.
So talk about that then. What's your thoughts and what's everybody saying about Palpatine being a clone?
Yeah, the cloning thing, Palpatine being cloned, I have no problem with. I prefer that he's a clone. I can believe it better that he's a clone.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, the Star Destroyer blew up. Death Star blew up. How could his body have survived that? I mean, yes, we were just talking about how people are getting chopped in half all the time in Star Wars and surviving, but this is you're being blown up.
Yeah.
Now, it was a surprise to see a lot of the wreckage survived.
That's true.
So maybe his body was in that wreckage and they dug it out of the wreckage. That's possible, and I probably could have believed that. But cloning's already been well established, and they didn't go through. I guess I'm glad that they didn't really go into details in the movie because maybe it would have felt rehashed. Like we just got through all this cloning stuff in the prequels, and a lot of people didn't like the prequels. So why are we talking about cloning again? So they basically presented that he's a clone without beating you over the head with it.
Yes.
Which I think is a good move. I think that's a pretty good move. And that's what's great about this book is that the book fills in all the gaps. You don't need the new information in this book to understand the movie better, understand the plot and what's happening in the film. I perfectly understand what's happening in the film, regardless if I don't know if Palpatine's a clone or not. Doesn't matter. He's there. He survived. And they give you just enough information to where it makes sense, to where you can believe either way, if he's real or if he's a clone. But no, I love that he's a clone. A lot of people are hating it. It really comes down to the same thing, same arguments. Is if you just can't get behind the fact that Palpatine's still around, then you're not going to buy any kind of reasoning or explanation. And that's fine. If you don't like it, it's just a story choice and you don't like it.
Yeah.
Fine. Cool. But I think regardless if you like it or not, it's still the story is still logical and it still is coherent. Now, yeah, so that gets to other arguments, but yeah, a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people didn't like the fact that Palpatine's son was a clone. I guess a lot of people are seeing that this book, or they're claiming that this book is in a way retconning the movie, and some people like that, some people don't like that. Which I don't think it's retcon. So it's
I don't either. Yeah,
it's just the same. This is those same kind of arguments where, people are just you're either hot or you're cold, and that's just your way of thinking about it, which is fine. And but I just am in the camp where the movie made sense.
Yeah,
that there's definitely things that I would have done differently, but nonetheless, the movie had a huge impact on me as a viewer, and I'm definitely a huge fan of it. Palpatine's son is a clone. I also prefer than him being a natural son, just because it was always hard to wrap your head around how Palpatine could have sired a child. But
yes,
this is great. I like this, and I love reading the passage. That I won't read it verbatim because it's kind of. I mean, even though you know the movie, I still don't want to read passages of the book because it could be spoilerish. Whatever. Those cool little details, I would prefer to not know ahead of time. But excuse me. But yeah, it just talks about how basically his Sith minions were always trying to perfect a clone, and his son is the closest they can get to, but it's not quite identical, but close enough to where they call it a son. But he doesn't have Force, so he's failed in the sense that he doesn't have he's not Force sensitive.
Yes,
so
he can't transfer his power to him.
Great.
Which, again, going back to and then I wanted to mention this before I forget. But I read a tweet from some article that said that it was in fact JJ's idea. He wanted to bring Palpatine in Episode 7.
I read that too.
Yeah,
I love that.
So this exact failed clone, and he's in this decrepit body. Mm-hmm. Like that was supposed to be in episode 7 instead of Snoke. So
that would have been nuts. Yeah,
that would have made more sense.
Yes, not sure.
I mean, I don't know how you carry that over for 3 movies, but
yeah, can't remember if it even said why he didn't go that route. But
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, clearly, I read that and I thought, well, that it's still maybe that was just a scrapped idea. It wasn't
right. Yeah, correct. It could have been.
Just it's because people were still like, oh, you can totally tell they didn't plan for Palpatine for all 3 movies. They still didn't. I think JJ had the idea. He didn't go with it, but he kind of held it in the back of his mind.
Yeah.
Rian Johnson, as far as we know, didn't plan for Palpatine at all.
Yeah.
And then JJ just brought him back using an older idea that he had. So, it's still the progression of the 3 films still work, but could have been more planned out, or could have felt more justified if Palpatine was in the episode 7. But it is what it is.
Yeah, and I think that I would actually be, because we talked about this earlier this afternoon, was this kind of opens up a chance to even get deeper in the storytelling of like what happened to the son clone. Like, why did he run away, or did he get let go, or did he get left for dead and he survives? And it's like there, because all we know is he did find love and try to hide,
live a normal life.
Yeah, try to hide from Palpatine.
Yeah,
it's almost like he left, ran away. And Palpatine's been trying to find him this whole time or something, and he went into hiding and had a daughter, and and I like the idea because when I watch the movie again, I want to see, like, I would rather like the idea that he is a full clone, because then it's like, well, so this is what Palpatine looked like when he was whatever in his 20s or 30s.
Yeah,
I like that idea because again, that's a whole nother story of him. Getting away from, that's the thing. We don't know the story. So did he get thrown aside and then end up having this powerful daughter or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
Somehow the power didn't get to him, but he was able to produce a child that is Force sensitive.
Yeah.
Obviously one of the most powerful. So it does make you wonder what happened there. And, so yeah, in the power part, like the transferring, I guess it gets solved in a sense that because he has power, right? Before he actually gets
Palpatine. Yeah.
He has some power, I guess, right?
Yeah, he's still
I couldn't remember because he doesn't. But
he still has power, but he's just I think weaker. I mean, he controls Snoke. He communicates to Kylo.
Yeah, that's right.
He does. Yeah, little.
He's just not really mobile.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until he sucks the life force out of them, right? Till he gets fully.
Yeah, and his little force storm.
Yeah.
Does
all
that.
Yeah. So I don't know. It does. I mean, it makes sense to me how this would work. Mm-hmm. I do question a little bit about why couldn't they figure out the cloning part a little bit, because like the Chameleons the only ones that knew how to do it, right?
It could be, I guess. That's quite possible if it's like proprietary technology or whatever, but that was basically initiated by Palpatine. Like he basically through Dooku, maybe Sifo Dyas started it, but then Dooku kind of like
took it over.
So I don't know.
But we learned
the Republic took it over.
But you learn in the Clone Wars that they knew.
Yeah, they knew the whole time.
They knew the whole time about Order 66 and all that stuff.
Maybe they just kept that technology to themselves, I guess.
Yeah.
But also I can believe that this is a different type of cloning. The passage in the book mentions gene splicing, which to me, I can see that being a different type of cloning where you're not just using the one DNA strand of your source, that you're kind of splicing it with other parts to kind of fill in the gaps. And I keep thinking of Jurassic Park, like they use mosquito DNA to fill in the gaps. They use, I don't know, some other person. Frog DNA. Yeah, well, he already looks like a frog, so it matches. That makes sense to me. It's actually really cool because the passage mentions the word strand cast, that his son was a strand cast. And I only know that term because it's mentioned in Mandalorian. There's a moment where Mando tells Quill, he says, talking about Baby Yoda, says, I think it's a strand cast. Towards the end, when he comes back, I think it's when he comes back to Quill, towards the end of the season.
So he thinks it's a clone.
He thinks it's like engineered because he says, I think it's a strand cast. And then Quill says something like, I don't think he was engineered, or I don't think he came. He used the word engineer in his response. So I
totally missed that then. Yeah.
Well, I had to go back. I missed the engineer part, but I always caught that strand cast because I thought, is that a species or what? But no, it basically is another term for gene splicing, clone, bioengineered human, whatever. Okay. So I'm basically in a nutshell, I feel like this is a slightly different process than just traditional Kaminoan cloning.
Yeah. Yeah, it totally makes sense.
But that's the beauty of the book, that it's just filling in gaps. Everything extra in this book would not have fit in the movie. The movie was already jam-packed. You couldn't have them explain, oh, he's a clone. He did this. He fell down the shaft and did this to transfer his body, and then his son, and then all this other stuff with Rey through the Force. It's like that's what the book is for.
Yes.
To just expand. As I said, it's expanded edition.
Yeah, a little bit more details.
Yeah. It's not retconning. It's not changing anything. It's just allowing you to appreciate the movie more.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure this made you happy because this kind of goes along with the Dark Empire storyline.
Oh my gosh, yes. I loved it. Even, again, the part where it does give a glimpse of how Palpatine transferred his body. Dark Empire, it was a little more simple, where he did fall and die, then his body immediately shot to the cloning facility off-world. And so this is very similar to that.
But I was going to mention that because I don't remember, well, what I remember Dark Empire, you read it most recently, but I thought I read that I felt like his spirit, it took a while to travel through space to get to his cloning facility.
I can't remember, but
whereas this seems like it was more like hyperspace to his.
I don't think it was that long. Well, granted, the story itself of Dark Empire takes place shortly after Return of the Jedi.
Yes,
so it's not too far ahead. But yeah, it's the same concept of he gets transferred into a clone, but it's an imperfect clone. The body deteriorates faster, so he has to constantly be transferring his body and over and over again.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's why in Dark Empire, that's why he wants. I think that's why he wants Luke. And Luke and Leia there at the end. It's such a great story.
It is.
But I was always hoping that was going to be the crux of Rise of Skywalker, and it wasn't as evident in the film, but now the book is really making that evident.
Yeah.
And, I guess that means JJ read, or Ray Carson maybe at least, because I don't know if JJ. I don't know if he thought to the detail that the book is presenting.
I think that was kind of the plan. And he left it for that. So Dark Empire, his transferring his consciousness across there. It's an intriguing story. It's definitely worth getting into, and I'm curious on what other details the movie has. Those are the only ones I've saw that were kind of brought up. Besides the Reylo
stuff with Rey on Tatooine at the end, is interesting. So
does it say double-bladed lightsaber?
Oh, I didn't see that part. I don't know. It talks about her basically at the end. She's not. It makes you think that she's not staying on Tatooine. That she's leaving.
Yeah, I think I had approaching that sense.
That's what we were hoping, but she was like she's actually walking to the Falcon to go back home, basically to the rest of the gang, but. They haven't seen anything else.
Oh, this is. Oh, I know what I was going to say too. Is I remember in reading some of that passages about Palpatine that it seems like it clearly also states that this is indeed, in fact, the ability to cheat death that he learned.
Yes, from Plagueis.
That's very
surprising. I was surprised that it went into rehashing the scene of how he actually, like, it was showing his perspective of Return of the Jedi when he died. But yeah, you're right. It went straight into not incredible detail about him killing Plagueis, but it's as much as it's saying like he learned the secret.
Yes, and he took Palpatine. Something like he took Plagueis' life quickly so that he couldn't come back.
Yeah, he come off guard. He's like he wasn't quick enough to do whatever it was.
Whatever it was, yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, that's crazy.
Finally,
yes.
we get the answer.
Finally.
Definitive canon of what this is, what happened.
Yeah, which is a great tie to the prequels, because that's the story that, Anakin was told from Sidious about cheating death, and this is cheating death. And again, if you look at it in that context of all the 9 movies, I mean, it makes sense that he would come back. I mean, it just makes sense.
I'm very excited this book is going to hopefully connect, because I'm fully expecting there to be more talk about Mustafar and Vader's castle, because that's where Kylo is. Yeah. And the encyclopedia talks about how the castle is supposedly just right around the corner in this wood, in the forest. And it's like, well, perfect opportunity for Kylo to be walking through his grandfather's castle.
I know.
And doing stuff, maybe as far as maybe that fight should have happened in Vader's castle.
I know, yeah.
And the crypt, the chest is just sitting there in Vader's chamber somewhere.
Yes, like Vader had the Wayfinder the whole time.
That would have been so cool. But
been so cool.
I'm hoping for more of that Luke and Leia stuff and Han Solo stuff.
Yeah, that would be. I'm gonna start listening to it as soon as it drops March 17th. So, all right. Thanks, everybody, for listening this week. Again, go check out the next episode of The Clone Wars. Episode 3 is this weekend. March 17th, release of The Rise of Skywalker. All that good stuff. Mandalore podcast, we're doing that again. That pretty much on Mondays. You'll get that dropping on Mondays, where we talk about the Clone Wars episodes. And that's about it.
All right.
Good with you, Case?
Yeah.
We didn't really theme this month out yet, so
it's all about Clone Wars still, kind of.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a lot of Clone Wars to talk about. It's really going to be interesting as we get towards the later part, because I'm just clueless really what's coming after the Ahsoka episodes, so but we'll talk about it. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll see you guys next week. For Case Cooley,
goodbye, everybody.
I'm Dave Cottingham. May the Force be with you.